The world has seen many versions of Sherlock Holmes over the years. From classic novels to modern TV adaptations, the legendary detective has always been portrayed as a brilliant and almost unstoppable genius. But one question has always remained: how did Sherlock Holmes become the greatest detective in the world? The 2026 series Young Sherlock attempts to answer that question by exploring the early life of Sherlock Holmes long before he became the famous detective of Baker Street. The story begins in the 1870s at Oxford University. Here we meet a 19-year-old Sherlock Holmes who is very different from the calm and calculated investigator people know from the original stories. At this stage of his life, Sherlock is rebellious, impulsive, and still trying to understand his own abilities. He is intelligent but undisciplined, and his curiosity often gets him into trouble. Everything changes when a mysterious murder occurs at Oxford. Sherlock suddenly finds himself connected to the crime and even suspected of involvement. To clear his name, he begins investigating the case himself. What starts as a simple attempt to prove his innocence soon turns into something much bigger. As Sherlock digs deeper into the mystery, he discovers that the murder is only the beginning of a much larger conspiracy. The investigation slowly expands beyond Oxford and reveals a complex network of secrets, hidden motives, and powerful enemies. This becomes Sherlock's first real case, the moment that begins shaping him into the detective he will eventually become. One of the most important characters introduced in the series is James Moriarty. In most Sherlock Holmes stories, Moriarty is known as the detective's greatest enemy. However, in Young Sherlock, their relationship starts very differently. At first, Sherlock and Moriarty meet as students and form a surprising friendship. They share intelligence, curiosity, and ambition, which brings them together during the investigation. But as the story progresses, the audience begins to see hints that this friendship may eventually transform into the legendary rivalry known throughout Sherlock Holmes' history. The series also introduces Sherlock's family, giving viewers a closer look at his personal life. His father, Silas Holmes, and his mother, Cordelia Holmes, both appear in the story, showing the environment in which Sherlock was raised. These family relationships help explain the emotional and intellectual influences that shaped Sherlock's personality and thinking style. Another key character in the series is Princess Guluen Schoen, also known as Xiao Wei. She is portrayed as a scholar and martial artist who becomes involved in the unfolding mystery. Her presence adds an international dimension to the story and contributes to the larger conspiracy that Sherlock is trying to uncover. The show is directed by Guy Ritchie, known for his fast-paced storytelling and stylish action sequences. His approach gives the series a dynamic tone, combining mystery, adventure, and character development. The result is a version of Sherlock